Welcome to Sober Shenanigans. Real talk and real recovery, sharing stories, old and new, trying to stay on the right path and help others just like you. So feel our flow and get on with the show. Here's your hosts, Stoff and Primo.
Welcome to Sober Shenanigans, real talk and real recovery. We're just two everyday average alcoholics trying to get better every day and maybe help somebody while we're doing it. I'm your host, Stoff, and with me as usual is my main man, Primo. What's up, Primo?
What is going on, my friend? This engineering that we're doing here is top notch. It's good to be back after the holidays, and I'm just excited. We got Tiffany in the studio today, and to be honest with you, it was I didn't know we were going to get to pull this off this week. I'm going to California.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do what people do in California. I guess my wife's got a conference there. We're going to go and do some workshops for marketing and advertising, and hopefully podcast engineering will be around somewhere where I can get some maybe meet up with a few people and learn a few things.
That'd be awesome. Yes, as mentioned earlier, we have Tiffany with us today. Hey, Tiffany, how you doing?
I am doing really great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being on here. Tiffany is a local. She's in the program and doing great. So what we like to do usually when we start off is if you want to say your sobriety date or just give us a basic synopsis of how you came to the program, that would be great.
Yeah, of course. So my sobriety date is December 20th, 2023.
Nice.
So like I was saying, God willing and the creek don't rise, I will celebrate 2 years sober coming up really, really soon, which is mind-blowing because coming into the rooms, it was like dragging a ball that first year of sobriety. I was like, I'm never going to get a year sober. And then once I did, it's like the next year just flew by. So I'm looking back and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been almost 2 years. And just to see where I was and where I am now is night and day. Just phenomenal, phenomenal stuff. And it's all thanks to the program and to the fellowship. So I have to give a shout out to Alcoholics Anonymous and my brothers and sisters in the program.
Sweet.
I'm like everybody else that came into the program. I didn't come in on a winning streak, and kind of like we were joking about before we started recording, I came in right before the holidays, which is always a big joke with people because they're like, why did you quit before the holidays? And I'm honest with people, and I say, hey, it wasn't my plan. I was going to go ahead and drink and drug until the next year and probably beyond. But,
I always admire people that come in right at that time. I got sober in March, and it was like, the guilt and shame of all the bad behaviors from the holidays just started to kind of percolate up to the top. I mean, and like March is like, that's 3 months later, like 90 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit. And after 90 days, I realized nobody wanted me around anymore after the holidays.
Yeah.
And
you broke all your New Year's resolutions.
Everything. I broke some records.
Yeah.
So bully for you if you got sober right before the holidays.
I don't remember my first Thanksgiving or Christmas very well, but I do know that I wasn't drinking, I wasn't drugging, I was sober, and I got to be with my kids. And now, I have a life I couldn't even dream of. If somebody would have told me this is where I would have been 2 years ago, I would have laughed at them. I would have said, yeah, okay, keep smoking what you're smoking.
Right.
Yeah.
As an old timer in the program, I think that when I see people coming in and it's like the knife is real sharp. They're practicing the trade. They're learning all these new tools, and it's like they're exercising this thing, and they're like so full of like the newness and the gratitude that it brings. And it's like everything you do is like it's an easy win, a life hack like you talk about,
right?
And it's like, damn. If I just didn't look at all these things, nothing's going wrong on a regular basis anymore. Yeah. So I love to see the energy of people like that for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about prior to coming in and getting sober. What was your life like? What were you, you said you have a couple of kids. So give us a little background on prior to getting sober. Yeah.
So, professionally, I was an office rat. I was in that rat race for a long time. I was in HR, for about 18 years. And towards the end of my active addiction, I kept pissing away all of my job opportunities. And I remember a really good friend of mine, he's actually my financial advisor. He looked at me and he was like, let me help you. Let me go through it. And he's like, okay, well, you got, your jobs listed here. Everything looks great. And I said, yeah, it just looks like I switch jobs every 2 to 3 years. And he's like, no, that's because you do switch jobs every 2 to 3 years. So he was one of the first people that had the guts and honestly had the balls to tell me that I had a problem.
Yeah.
Because, back then, and I've made amends with him for this, but, right at the end of my active addiction, I was lying to him. And I was like, I need to make my house payment, but I was getting money for booze and drugs. Yeah. So, that was something when we talk about our list of people that we need to make amends to, he didn't even make that list. But as we've connected again and we worked through some of the things. Yeah, anyway, I made amends to him and I feel a lot better about it now. And then my rock bottom came after my dad died. He passed away. Sorry.
Wait a minute. Did you say that you had a financial advisor when all this was going down?
Oh, yes. Yes, because when I worked in HR, I had a 401k. I had multiple 401ks or IRAs like normal human beings do. But unlike normal human beings, I liquidated those accounts so that I could fund my lifestyle.
It's a cool little interesting factoid that kind of slipped by. I think that, did you have you see, both of you guys probably had financial. I didn't have that shit.
Yeah, they just tell you you're fucking up.
Yeah, they just...
And, thankfully he did that because, like I said, my dad had passed and he told me to come to his house and he looked at me and he's like, Tiffany, you look like shit. He's like, you need to get it together because you're running out of money. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And that was right before I walked into Alcoholics Anonymous, but I had burned everything. I had been divorced years prior. And I can look back now and see the part that I played in that. But, before then, it was a very abusive relationship. In all honesty, we probably shouldn't have been married, but, I can't say no because I have 2 beautiful children. I have 2 beautiful daughters. Leah's my 15-year-old and Avery's my 11-year-old. And, man, if they don't just make me happy every day when I wake up, I love getting to be their mom and being present and just being there for all that stuff. So... I went through a lot of ugly stuff, and we've all got those drunkalogs that, we're like, oh, I did this, or I punched that guy, or I did this thing. And that's kind of why I was joking. I was like, I'm not special. Everything that I'm going to say, you guys have heard 20 times over. So I was running my life into the ground, and I was on the road to killing myself. And then on December 19th, my partner and my boyfriend, who's been wonderfully supportive, he's a normie, but he understands somewhat of, what I'm going through. He pretty much made me an ultimatum and he just said, you're killing yourself. You're killing our relationship. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
So I got mad about it, of course. So I drank about it. And then the next morning I woke up, I looked up AA and I walked into Ozona and I have never looked back.
Wow.
You walked into a good room, actually, didn't you?
Holy jeez, did I ever. Talk about motley crew. I love Ozona for just the people there. They're genuine. They care. And, sometimes you need somebody to lay it down for you just like it is.
Yeah.
And, that's why I go there. Because the stories, the people, and they keep it real.
Yeah.
I used to think I was a low bottom drunk, and then I went to Ozona. And I'm like, I was like, that just ran. I may have had a few more drinks left in me, but no, there's some great people there, man.
Yeah.
And I say that out of true love, but there's some total, prime examples of, if you wanted a sample, like a DNA sample of what alcoholism looks like, there's one guy that was sitting across from me yesterday. I was like, now this cat he was on the show, the Boston
Keith.
Brawler, Keith, yeah.
Yeah.
He is a card.
Yeah.
He is, he's the poster boy. Yeah.
He's awesome.
I love him. No, I do love him, but man, the energy.
Yeah. He still scares me.
Yeah.
He's a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
I saw him and then I realized and listened to him and then I'm like, there's a God.
Yeah, he gets whipped up. pretty good.
Oh, but it's wonderful because, some people get very complacent
Yeah.
about their sobriety, but, Keith is always there with that passion.
Yeah.
And, some people are like, oh, man, it's so over the top. But you know what? It's passion.
Yeah.
It just makes me think, man, in 25 years, I hope that I'm like that. I
Yeah.
hope that I can walk into a room and be like, y'all, we need to get excited about sobriety.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys like that are awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing. So you had brothers and sisters, and what was that like? What was your family life like?
So we were Midwest family. I was born and raised in, I say Dallas, Texas. It's a small town outside of Dallas. And I'm the oldest of three. So I have a sister that's 3.5 years younger than me, and then a sister that's also 15 years younger than me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, I was a total brat when we found out she was on the way because her due date was my birthday, and I was a 15-year-old.
Gotta be 15, yeah.
And I was like, Mom, that's super rude. That's my birthday, not this new kid's. So anyway, she was born like 8 weeks early because, just complications and stuff. But, growing up, it was a little bit difficult of a childhood, and not like all of us don't have stuff from our past, but a lot of my wounds, those things that made me fearful and made me drink, were present in that time frame, and a lot of it had to deal with people abandoning me. Like my parents, my biological dad and my mom split up, and he would come around every once in a while or send a card, but it was always like, hey, get ready, I'm gonna go take you to Chuck E. Cheese, or we're gonna go to Putt Putt. And then I'd be all dressed up and sitting on the curb or sitting on the porch, and he would never show.
Oh.
And it was just that, why doesn't he want me? I just didn't understand. I was 6, and I still vividly remember this. So, fast forward a bunch of years, and now my family's in Florida. My parents got 2 really great job offers to move from Dallas to Clearwater, so we moved in 97. And that was super great for me because I was 15. My parents were both working, so they're like, guess what you get to do over the summer? Babysit. So everywhere I went, if damn it, everybody wasn't like, your baby is so cute. She looks just like you. And I'm like, well, thank you, but that's my sister. They're like, okay, sweetheart. And so I was like, whatever. But it was a good representation of what I had been to my family, which is that parentified older daughter. I was the kid that my parents didn't have to worry about. Straight A's. I was student council president. I was a band nerd. Like my senior year, I was a drum major. So, it's just everything. I was in AP classes. I constantly strove for perfection and to prove my worth to my family because my dad was very old school. He was born and raised on a farm in Indiana. So it was very much, we had 6 kids because you could benefit the farm. So it's kind of like, what are you doing around the house for your family instead of sitting around and being selfish or whatever the case may be. Idle hands are the devil's tools, my dad liked to say a lot.
Yeah.
I like him.
You know what? He was a scrapper, and I love him dearly, but he's also the source of a lot of my fear on some stuff. And
Do you mean he used to put like steel back at sell steel and aluminum, or he was just a fighter?
No, like he was just
a scrapper. You mean like?
I'm trying to think of a nice word to say. He was ornery.
Okay.
How about that? Yeah. Very dry sense of humor. I always joke with people like, if you guys were like a goat farmer and like, let's say you made like vegan goat milk cream for a face or whatever, my dad would be like, I hate goats. They're absolutely disgusting. They're the bane of the existence. And I think you guys are stupid for having a goat farm just to get a rise out of you.
Wow.
Did that to every boyfriend.
Oh, really?
He probably ran off Mr. Right, and the ones that stayed around were just too dumb to, say anything.
Well, I'm probably guilty of that myself. Occasionally.
Yeah, I had 2 daughters. I wasn't super friendly with all the guys. I always say it's not my job to help you date my daughter.
Yeah.
So.
You're the first guest that's actually lasted this long. I usually run them out of here by now.
I'm not scared of much.
Nice.
I'm not scared
of much. All right.
So you old school dad,
Yeah.
keep the kids working. You're the oldest. You're in charge. And there's some of that thing. So you get into, like, when did you start drinking? When you came to Florida and you were a teenager, or?
Oh no, my family, and even though my dad was born in Indiana, he was like, the French drink all the time, right? And I was like, okay.
This is true.
I mean, in Mediterranean overseas, I mean, that's how it goes. And my parents were never strict about alcohol. I mean, my first drink was white Zinfandel with my mom and dad. It was classy, out of the box. So I got started on the good stuff.
Right out of the bottle. Huh?
Right.
And with your parents, how old were you probably, you think?
Probably about 13.
Oof. Wow, they're jumping in.
You started on cork wine, huh?
Wow.
No, spigot wine.
Spigot.
Like the bag in the box. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like we never talked about it, but my dad was hardcore alcoholic.
Yeah.
I love him, and he helped me so much through my life, but his life, at the end of his life, he was dying in hospice, and the only thing he wanted by the bedside was a box of red wine.
Jeez.
And it broke my heart. But that was like his symbol. That was his mascot through life. And they bought it by the case. It was ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, so, my parents kind of introduced me to wine, and I really liked it. And then, of course, growing up in the time frame that I did, like mid-90s, lots of bonfires, lots of moonshine out of coolers. Parents didn't know where we were, smoking menthols in the back of some dude's car that I don't even know, hoping that I get home alive. It's every Gen Xer's kind of story. I'm right on the cusp. I like to call myself a Zennial because I'm 43 now, so I'm stuck in the middle somewhere. I don't know, just like that song.
Zennial. So it's a Gen Z millennial? Or a Gen X?
Yeah, Gen X and millennial. Okay. So
Zillennial.
I was always like one of the older kids. I loved hanging out with like all the seniors and everything, and like when you wore the Letterman jackets, but whatever. I digress on that. So, from there it expanded, and then I went to college, and that was my first aha type moment, because I was a bartender, college town. You can make a lot of money bartending. And I worked with this guy, and his name was Ron. He wasn't in the program, but he was sober. And I remember he was walking me to my car one night, and I said, "How do you not drink? Like how does that even work? This is me, like a 19-year-old kid, saying, dude, you're a grown adult and you don't let yourself drink." That type of attitude. And he's just like, I did really bad stuff when I was drinking, so this is where I want to be now. So at that point, I was 19, 20 years old. I knew I had a problem, but I didn't want to do anything about it.
Right.
I wasn't hurting anybody else. I didn't have kids at that point. I was with my boyfriend, who would then become my husband, but, that's what we did. We went out and had fun until it wasn't.
Right.
And then that just got me to where I am today, or, before I came into the program.
Yeah, that's a likely story. I mean, a lot of us have that same sort of ramp up of drinking from around the house, then in high school, then in college, it ramps up because you have no supervision. And then it's, what happens after that? Does it continue to take hold? Does it continue to build? Like with me, it did. I never really slowed down. I mean, quit a few times, but it never took.
Yeah.
That's,
you certainly have fulfilled the rite of passages.
I have done everything. Maybe not everything that everybody else has done, but I put myself and other people in situations that I look back now and I still want to cringe, because I could have killed somebody. I could have killed myself.
Yeah.
And
they call that the shame shivers.
Yeah, it's totally.
I love that.
You do like that saying.
I love that saying.
Yeah.
Because it made so much sense. Like, I'm like, oh, if I go back through the 8mm camera of blackouts that I had these little magical clips of, every once in a while, this little clip comes up and I'm like, oh, and I shiver.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the blackouts, because that was kind of the end of the end for me. I didn't become a blackout drinker until probably 5 years 5 years before I stopped drinking. But it would be longer and longer. So it got to the point where I was losing weekends.
But college is like that moment. Like when I went to college, I was sober, and I was in a dry college, and I lived in a dorm, and I was like I was like 27 when I was living in a dorm with these kids. I was like, man, and I was going to meeting. I actually started meeting at the campus, but I always wanted that Animal House party till I dropped experience. I mean, that was like, I felt like I didn't go to the prom. I didn't do all these things because of my alcoholism. But, so I always have a little bit of envy that people that have these great college stories. But then in the end of the day, they're not that great. When you really dive into it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, they blacked out and life sucked.
Yeah, pretty much that's the way it goes. And all college did was teach me how to tailgate really good.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to my adult life, when I was dealing with difficult situations or doing things, I always had to tailgate or pregame. I was going out to dinner with my parents. I needed at least a couple glasses of wine before I could deal with my mom or dad.
Which team?
Sorry?
Which team were you tailgating?
I am a proud graduate of the University of Florida.
Oh, go Gators.
So go Gators.
All right, so there you go. And this is rivalry weekend. So.
It is.
Yes.
It is. And my best friend's
they win?
son
They
goes
did.
to Florida State. So
They beat Florida State?
Oh,
They
no,
did.
my best friend's son went to Florida State, so we had to kind of come to an understanding, not a house divided, so.
But they
Florida beat Florida State yesterday. Yes.
I didn't see it.
Yep,
Yeah.
they did.
Well, my 3-step kids are all Gators.
It's a great school.
Well, good for you, man. It means you're not only are you you're smart then, actually. Don't you have to be like you have to be big brained to get into Florida.
And, I did have to apply twice. I do have to throw that out there because I applied to a couple different colleges, but I wanted to go to UF. I wanted to go to the journalism college because I wanted to be like Ed Murrow, and I wanted to be one of those like intensive field reporters.
Oh, wow.
And it never worked out because, as you can see, newspapers have gone by the wayside. And,
True.
I still write, though. I still love to write. And that was one of the first things I picked up in sobriety because my sponsor was like, you got to find an outlet. You got to either talk to somebody, write it down. And that's what I did. I downloaded a free program that lets me write as much as I want. I type it out. I add chapters. I delete stuff. And it's a really great way, kind of like what we were talking about. Like, I can look back at my first year of sobriety and I can be like, oh my gosh, that was when I got my power cut off for the first time because I couldn't make ends meet. It was my house almost getting repossessed. It was my car being repossessed twice and losing 2 jobs within a year in my first year of sobriety. I was just like,
Wow.
I was leaning into my sponsor and leaning into God a lot because I knew if left to my own devices, I would burn the world down and just watch as everything fell apart.
Wow.
That's that's where we get wisdom, though.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So I think all that stuff's so important. Like my kid, I totally want him to fail. And certain things in his life so that he gets that wisdom. You know what I mean? Like now's the time, I'll catch you, kid.
Yeah.
But, go out there and skin your knees up and come back crying and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
But totally, all that stuff, man, is it's all the rite of passage stuff that we need to do to have the conviction, and the motivation. And then all this stuff all the wins that we get really are accentuated.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to make it like paint doom and gloom because, we're not a glum lot.
No.
We're pretty hilarious people. And, that was just some of the stuff that happened. It didn't happen to me because I realize that now things don't happen to me. I make my own destiny.
Sure.
So if I fuck up on my time. I'm the one that did it because I'm the whole problem, okay?
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I know that about myself now. But before I had that victim mentality where I was like, it's everybody else against me. And once I got through that and I was like, you're not a big deal.
So when did you have that epiphany?
Self-aware.
Yeah. Because a lot of people carry that victim card. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
They think it's like a
badge of honor.
membership, or they could fucking trademark it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I wanted to, man. It was actually probably, I was about 7 or 8 months sober, and it was the first job that I lost in sobriety, and it was coming to grips with, I can't always be right. I have to let my ego get out of the way, and I have to meet people where they are. Right. Because if I expect them to come and be where I am, I mean, that's ridiculous. That would be like you expecting me to have your wisdom with all of your years of sobriety.
It's a lot of mistakes.
But that's just it. It's mistakes. And at the end of the day, it's saying, you made a mistake. You're not a mistake. Okay? Right. You're not stupid. And all those things that, I mean, we tell ourselves, oh man, I can't believe you did that. You're so dumb. You broke that.
So how long before you worked the steps?
I got into it right away. I got a sponsor about 3 weeks into the program.
I'm feeling that. I'm feeling it.
I mean,
I can see it. I have my little my.
I don't think she was there
Black
the other
belt
day.
radar.
I do. Yeah, I have a little bit of a radar for that.
But as soon as I got in the program, there's a lot of people that say, you know, I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to do it. But when I walked in that room, I knew AA was my last house on the block, because I had tried to quit so many times by myself, sitting on the couch, sweating it out, not talking to anybody. And I was just sick of my own shit. I mean, I didn't want to be this person anymore. Nobody could rely on me. My kids, I mean, God bless them, and thank God that I was able to get where I am, because I still have my kids, and they love me, and they want to hang out with me now. But before, that wasn't the case. So,
but you always maintain your children in your home?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but you know what? I messed up so much that, you know, I went through a really nasty divorce, and it was really bad. And I did a lot of bad stuff during that time. Not like, you know, offing people or anything, but I was drinking and drugging with my kids in the house. And I'm not proud of that at all. But if my story, and by me saying that, can help somebody and be like, oh crap, I'm in that same situation, you can get to the other side. It's going to be a bitch and you're going to hurt, but you will get there. You just have to let us love you till you love yourself. That's what everybody told me coming into the room, because I didn't love myself, but I knew I needed to be there.
Right.
So as soon as I started working the steps with my sponsor, I made a decision. I said, I'm going to do everything this woman tells me to do. She tells me to stand on my head. Got it. It may take me 20 minutes, but I'm there. So I do what my sponsor tells me. I surround myself with like-minded women, and I keep my own side of the street clean. I try not to worry about what everybody else is doing, because inevitably I'm doing something wrong that somebody doesn't like, or they don't like the way I'm doing it. So I'm there for the people that want me or need me there, and otherwise I keep my side of the street clean, and I just try to do the next best thing.
Nice.
That is awesome. You know, this is the behind the scenes stuff that us guys, you know, need to, you know, and because of the amount of followers that we have are female, I've been on the prowl for finding us.
I saw you were like crouching in the corner.
Oh yeah, I'm actually trying to get some of the sisters in here to bring the goods and to deliver the message, because it is so important. Because unfortunately, you know, when the women come in, sometimes they can find, you know, there's some creepers running around with a different agenda or different motives, and you know, and God knows I was one of them. You know what I mean? In fact, true story, I was pretty much taken advantage of by a woman too. So
you got 13 steps.
Oh yeah, I got 13 steps, and I deserved it, every second of it, and it's sort of funny, and maybe not so much actually, but I do believe that you know, hearing that message is really critical for the ladies out there that do listen. You know, find a woman in the program. Get some direction, take some steps, and life will change. You will accept responsibility instead of being a victim. It's so cool.
Absolutely.
So how has life changed since you came in, and what are you doing now? So you were in HR for a long time, and then you those jobs went away.
Yep.
So what's Tiffany up to these days?
So Tiffany now is a jack of all trades, master of none. I pretty much do a lot of part-time jobs now. With my past, the professional rat race, I knew if I went back, I would end up in the same place because in 2 of my previous jobs, I actually took short-term disability to do outpatient programs to try to get better. But, when you're snorting cocaine off of the rehab toilet, you're probably not getting the message. And unfortunately, that's where I was.
That's not very sanitary either.
It wasn't, but some of the stuff they mix in with cocaine.
Did you
now
take it
isn't
in there
good.
with you, or did someone in there?
Oh no,
get it for you?
I made sure I had my own supply because I didn't. It's just like going to a party. You don't want to come empty-handed, but I'm not going to share anything with anybody else.
They didn't check your no.
Nope,
just
they
said,
didn't
"Come
check
on in."
anything, and I was like, it's fine. It's totally fine. This is not going to affect that at all.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to make friends in a rehab.
I guess.
Maybe I didn't think it was as serious because it was outpatient. It wasn't like court ordered or anything. I did it because I knew I had a problem twice. But after that, I just decided that I didn't want to babysit adults anymore. And, everybody hates HR. I even kept candy in my office to try to bribe people to come in. It didn't work. Excuse me. So after I separated from this last employer, it was mutual separation. They pretty much said, we don't like you here. You don't like you here. Let's mutually separate. And it was the best thing I could have done because, again, I was just miserable. So after that, I dove into the wonderful job market that we're in right now. And I say that with all sarcasm and spitefulness that I can.
Yeah.
Because it's terrible right now. And honestly, my heart goes out to anybody looking for a job or trying to earn extra money because it's so hard right now.
Yeah.
So I started dog grooming. I was dog grooming part-time. I was cleaning part-time. I was doing not home health aid work because I'm not certified, but I would drive older people around that maybe didn't have transport, and they would pay me to take them to doctor's appointments or go grocery shopping. And then most recently, I started substitute teaching for Pinellas County schools. So it's kind of like, again, what does Tiffany feel like doing today? And as crazy and hodgepodge as it is, it works perfect for me right now. And you know what? I wake up and I'm happy.
And being that you're sober, you can handle whatever the challenge of the day is, right? You're not planning the day around your blackout.
Right.
You're not planning about where to get the next buzz or the drinks or any of that stuff. So you can do literally whatever you want to do. Yeah. Nothing's holding you back, which is one of my favorite things about sobriety is the freedom that it brings us, that you don't know you're missing until you get sober and realize what handcuffs alcohol and drugs had on us.
It's like solitary confinement.
We were living every day around in our own prison of those things because, like I like to share on my Grateful Fridays is I'm grateful I don't have to plan around my blackout today, which I did for so long. I knew I was going to start drinking at 2. I'd be blacked out by 5. I needed to somehow get home around 6. And it's terrible when you know that's the life you're living. So,
but waking up tall and handsome is,
it's got to be tough.
What I mean? It's got to be just brutal.
Yeah, it's just really tough to, no, you don't think about it. I don't think about that at all. I just think, I think like Tiffany, I am glad that today is here. Yeah. I am blessed to have another great day. I get on my knees every morning and thank my higher power. I thank God that he gave me another shot, another day to be grateful and everything that comes, just let me maybe help one person today. Maybe I can be of service to one person today. And it's always cool at the end of the day when that random person came in. Like I prayed that the other day and my nephew hits me out of nowhere. He texts me, he's, what's up, Unc? How you doing? And I'm just like, oh, great to hear from you. And I go, how are you doing? He's like, man, I'm sober. I think he said he was sober like 21 days or something.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, he's doing, manual labor type stuff. Like he's doing pressure washing and shit. And he's like, I want to start my own pressure washing gig. I go, great.
Do it.
How do we do that?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I just need this and this and this. And I go, all right, well, tell me how much all that costs. And we'll talk about seeing if you can do this, if you really want to do it. So it's just that whole new life is great that sobriety brings. That is an awesome thing. You can't even put a price tag on it, right?
Well, that's one of the many gifts of the program, like you said. I mean, alcoholics stick together. So when one alcoholic's like, man, I really need this, or I'm in a really tough spot right now, I'll drop what I'm doing just so I can go help them, because I know they do the same for me. And,
Right.
Financially, I'm not in the same position I was, because I was making almost 6 figures a year. And now, now I make some money. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But that's
all
kind of
right.
that's kind of the beautiful part of this journey, is that you're kind of a reverse engineering some things and then redoing it right. And
Absolutely.
all those, my sponsor, the late great Guy King, used to say, you have to wait for the big reveal. And then I'd be like all jammed up about stuff, and things weren't going my way, and then he would say, remember, what did he say? Oh, he said, were you lying to me when we did the third step? I said, were you full of shit? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, did you turn your will and your life over to God? And I'm like, you son of a bitch. I would never want to call him again after that.
Yeah.
But he would make those points, and it would be like, all right. And, you just kind of wake up and start over, man. And like, okay, but the more you do the next right thing, eventually all these great things start happening. I know that, the drama and the rearview mirror for you guys probably has still some smoking embers in the,
Oh, yeah.
there's some smoking embers still in the rearview mirror, and all that stuff eventually just goes away, and it's like, whoa. And, and you can go anywhere and do anything, like total freedom.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Now, if I was still drinking, I would be super pissed that my oldest child would be waking me up at 5:45 in the morning to take her to school. I get to take my daughter to school now. And those are times that we talk about the stuff that you remember, or it's the stuff that you don't think is going to be a big deal. And then you end up talking about life lessons. And that's what I get to be present for.
Sure.
And man, if that doesn't get me high,
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap, give me a gold star. I just not only adulted, I'm mommed too.
Yeah.
So, and it's like 6:00. So it's just like totally rewiring yourself to say, you've been looking at this all wrong.
Right.
These things are in your path, not to stop you, but to help you grow, because you have character defects, Tiff, and you need to work on them. So those speed bumps, even though I may hate every single minute of it because it's hell in the hallway, those speed bumps are there to make me slow down and pay attention to the God shots. They're there to make me say, okay, Tiffany, what are you actually doing? Question my motives. What's my intent? And like I said, just trying to be a better person, not being a jerk to somebody in traffic, even though I still can do it.
Sure.
Just trying to realize that everybody's doing the best they can. And I used to hate that when I came in. People would say, oh, everybody's doing the best they can. And you're like, are they really? But then that was my cynical side.
Yeah.
It really was. And
Are they? Yeah.
I think it's
I don't
awesome.
know.
What's really awesome, though, isn't
No, I like that when you would think that your cynical side. Are they really? Even though we think they are trying the best they can.
I never think
But
that.
are they?
Never.
Yeah.
No.
No.
They're screwing up, damn it. No, I'm just kidding. The fact that your pathway is leading you into substitute teaching is really kind of cool. I have a huge soft spot for teachers, and I'm totally frustrated that they don't live this glamorous, glorious life, and that we are not investing in the people that are our greatest commodity is our children. So why are we not giving everything we can to teachers so that when they show up, they're not worried about their electric bill and this and that, and they, all the different little things that they should have to make their life run smoothly. They're not worried about that. So God bless you. Thank you. I feel like it's a sacrifice anymore, for people to take that position.
Yeah.
But I guess the reward is that you get to be wrong.
It's been a calling for me. I mean, I don't want to sound like, crystal hugger or anything, but, it's when I was a kid, I always played teacher, and, I'd set up my stuffed animals and I would do it. And I wanted to be a teacher. And then in some variations throughout my HR career, I would do like trainings, something with the teaching aspect. And, now that I'm in it and I'm working with the kids, it's like I was joking before, I'm 43. I'm not going to have any more babies, but I'll go substitute teach so that I can have a little sit in my lap and I can read them a book, and then I get my fix. But then I also get to work with the littles, and it almost gives me a do-over, like with what I did with my kids, because it's like that old adage, I would spill something and I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid, or I would get short-tempered with my kids if they spilled milk. Now I have a chance to do it over. So if somebody spills glue, I'm like, hey, Johnny, it's just glue. It was a mistake. Let me help you clean it up and we'll get to playing. It's that type of, I don't want to say cycle breaking, but it kind of is. It's just that, it's that grace principle for me. Just give grace, even when you don't want to. And even if you think the person doesn't deserve it, give them grace. Give them the benefit of the doubt. There's a guy at Ozona, his name is Pierce, and he likes to say, you don't know that. So when you're, bitching about people doing mean things to you and everything, you're saying horrible things, I try to remember that saying, Tiffany, you don't know that. That guy could be going through the worst day of his life. So I just, golden rule, try to treat people the way you want to be treated, and, life will fix itself.
Right. I mean, it's thy will be done anyway. It's not ours. It's God's plan. We're just,
I'm not in charge.
I'm not in charge.
I thought I was.
Thank goodness. Yeah,
I thought I was, and look where my life went.
Exactly.
Not so good. But, the second that I started realizing that there was something greater than me, and you guys will probably get a kick out of this story. When I first came into the program, obviously people are like, you're finding spirituality, you're finding out about yourself, what works for you, what doesn't. And I was having a hard concept with God, because, I grew up Baptist. So it's like a Baptist God is very loving God. They like to feed you, listen to bluegrass music, and everybody loves you. It's not like some of the other religions. But I didn't know where to start. And it was kind of a sticking point for me. So my sponsor just said, pray to something that means something to you. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I'm a huge Deadhead fan. I love the Grateful Dead. So, for the first 4 or 5 months of sobriety, I prayed to Jerry Garcia.
I knew you were going to say that.
I prayed to Jerry Garcia, and trust me, the irony is not lost.
Yeah.
I know Jerry Garcia's passed, and unfortunately how he died, but it got me talking to God. I would go and just sit on my porch with my dog and just be like, Jerry, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. And it got me to the point where I could start working on my relationship with God. And now I talk to God in the car with my dog, wherever I am, wherever I need God, he's there.
Yeah.
And where's Jerry in all this?
Jerry's still there. He's sitting right next to him.
No, he is. He's sitting right there. I'm sure he
But
is.
it was awful blasphemous of me to, use that correlation because, like I said, Jerry Garcia was a heavy drug user and drinker. But he always was like that old grandpa soul to me. And he always symbolized love and unity to me. So that's what I prayed to. And, now I have a God of my understanding that loves me for who I am, takes the good with the bad. And you know what? At the end of the day, I don't have to prove anything because I am a child of God. And I know he loves me.
Jerry,
Amen.
Jerry certainly had his own apostles. We'll call them apostles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that followed him.
There's a movie called Half Baked with Dave Chappelle.
Man.
And he's got Jerry Garcia's ashes in his little necklace thing, and they pray to it a couple of times. That's what I was thinking about.
Well,
you know what, though? I mean, the guy was...
Seen the movie.
The guy was about,
I think that was Jim Brewer's character.
Jim Brewer's character had the Jerry Garcia pouch. Yep. That's right. And there was the guy on the couch that was Stephen Wright, Dave Chappelle.
Oh, geez, Stephen Wright.
This was 25, 30 years ago at this point?
Great.
God,
great
that
movie.
tastes terrible coming out of my mouth 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, it doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, it's got one of the great quit scenes of all time when he quits the restaurant. Fuck you, you're cool. Fuck you, I'm out.
Wow.
That's what he says.
It was amazing.
It was great way to quit.
Yeah, all those movies, that stuff. Dazed and Confused, one of my favorites.
Yeah, another good one.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Ann Affleck. Yeah.
Matthew.
Speaking of Matthew, Our guest today, usually on our show, Sober Shenanigans, we have a celebrity quote from a celebrity that is sober. And today, Tiffany chose Matthew Perry, rest in peace. He did battle this for a long time, but he does have a couple of good quotes, and here's one of Tiffany's favorites. Matthew said, "My favorite 6 words in recovery are trust God, clean house, and help others." Matthew Perry, rest in peace. That's a good one. He's a great, we still watch Friends at my house, and he's hilarious. You know, my son's an actor, and we always, my wife's like, that's just like JD. My son is an actor, and she thinks that Matthew Perry and him he's a Chandler, is what she says. He could be Chandler. Very good. But, that was a shame, too, because the more we hear about what happened to him and you know, his access to these drugs and just it's another accidental overdose like so many other people. It's just a shame, you know, but it gets a grip on you.
It does.
And, you know, the 3 of us sitting here, we're lucky right now that it doesn't have a grip on us.
No.
And we try to work every day to keep that grip away.
Absolutely. And one of the things I love most about that quote is that it's short, it's simple, and it's a call to action.
Yeah.
You know, there's no like, I wonder what that means, or let's break it down. You're like, no, it's right there. Here's what you do. And I think sometimes coming into sobriety, people overcomplicate it. They're like, I have to overhaul my life. I have to completely change. And you're like, no, don't do that. Homeostasis for a year. You know, that's what my sponsor told me. No big changes, no crazy stuff that you can control. Like me losing a job in early sobriety, couldn't control that. But the things that we could control, I remember she just said, try to stay as even as possible. And man, I tried. But sometimes you got to call to action. You're like, hey, I got to get up off my ass and I've got to do this, because just sitting here talking about it isn't doing anything. Right.
We have to give back. You have to be of service to others. You have to help others, because that's where Primo says this all the time, being around as long as he has, is that's where you get the actual, the meat of the program, and the meat of this is helping someone else, because it reinforces your own sobriety.
Absolutely.
And, you know, seeing that person come in, that you can see the gleam in their eye after a few days or after a few weeks, and you can see him change. You can see him get better. You can see him. Yeah. I mean, it's a great thing. And, what do you say? This pays us time and a half.
Yeah, man. Every hour we get time and a half.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes we get holiday pay. You know, I like the quote, Matthew Perry. You know, it's like dividing the steps. It's like a division of all 12 steps into 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Trust God, clean house, help others.
Yep.
I mean, it needs to be simple for some of us. Some of us folks, we don't need the long version. We just need a real bullet pointed direction, you know, and give them a north compass, take all the other shit out and say, here, dude, go this way and don't stop, you know, or just go to a meeting. Yep. You know,
you just got to get started. That's the hardest part.
Yeah. I mean,
walking in.
And I followed his story a little bit, and, you know, I really liked it when he came out sober and he was advocating this program. I'm like, because Friends is such a big cultural thing,
absolutely,
in all of our lives, and you know, for him to come out and then the tragedy that occurred, I don't know if it was equally as powerful, but it certainly had a lot of impact on a lot of people. Yeah, that this is a no joke. You know, this isn't for wimps. This is hard, you know. This is you know, they told me when I came in, 1 in 38 people were going to get sober.
Right.
And I don't even know if that's still true today or not. I know it's not maybe worse or maybe too much better. But
I think it's getting better, because for the first time in history, sobriety is trending.
Yeah.
If you look on Instagram
or
TikTok, there are so many celebrities that Anthony Hopkins, he's got like 60 years of sobriety. Yeah. I mean, phenomenal. Steven Tyler, you know, all these people that live those hard and fast lifestyles that, you know, I looked up, because you're like, oh, they're rock stars. They're so cool. They're coming out and saying, hey, guess what? David Bowie, huge one, Elton John. Like, all these people are like, this almost killed me, ruined my life, ruined my family's lives. And by getting it out there, it takes the astigmatism off of it. It takes that red letter off of your chest, and you can say, okay, like you said, it's a badge of honor, not something to be ashamed of. I know who I am now, and I'm an alcoholic. And I'm so happy to know that I am an alcoholic, because at least I know now what's wrong with me. You know, I know that I'm sensitive.
See, one of my early heroes, I think, was Ozzy Osbourne when he jumped off the tour bus from Van Halen and snorted ants on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, now that's a guy. I want to party with that guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was a somewhat of a hero for me. You know what I mean? Like, to be that crazy, that deranged, and that just fueled.
Yeah. Just chaos.
I want
unbridled chaos.
I want all of that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that doesn't work out very well. But then he gets sober.
Yeah.
You know,
and his daughter got sober. Kelly Osbourne sober.
The Lord of Darkness got sober. Anybody can, if Ozzy can get sober, shit. I mean, it is such a great opportunity.
It is. I love the program. Like I said, I can't say enough about how deep my love is for the program. And we were talking a little bit earlier about service work. Even though I am coming up on 2 years, I'm probably about the maturity age of about, I don't know, like a 10 or 11-year-old. So I'm not quite ready to sponsor yet. But I do other service work. So I have a standing commitment at Ozona. I do the Sunday 8 o'clock meeting every Sunday.
What would prohibit you from being able to sponsor?
Bro, I'm not ready.
Hey, man.
I'm not ready.
For every nut, there's a wrench.
I do like that.
So just know.
Maybe I just haven't found my nut yet.
Yeah, there's somebody out there that needs just somebody they can talk to, for crying out loud. You never know.
Oh, I love being that person. Like, I'll sit and talk to people. But sponsoring, it's not my wheelhouse yet. It's going to be a goal for me for next year.
I think you're going to be a great sponsor.
Oh,
okay?
Thank you.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I'm excited to see you shepherd a few of these young ladies in.
I would love to. It would be an honor.
Or old ladies. I mean, let's not discriminate.
Hey, what? Everybody. I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm in.
But I definitely like that part. And I was given a very great opportunity at Ozona to become the secretary of the group. So they kind of made an exception for me, which, they like to have somebody with a lot of years of sobriety. But man, was I persistent. I just kept showing up to the business meetings and I'm like, what can I do to help? And they were finally like, sure, take notes, just shut up.
No, that's good. I mean, it's so important to get into the behind the scenes things. I mean, a lot of people show up, they give you a lip service, they come and they go, my life sucks. And that's about it. And then they leave and they do nothing in between. And they're like, well, it didn't work for me. Well, okay.
Maybe. But you didn't work it, so.
Yeah, if you want to have abs, you got to do a few sit-ups. You know what I mean? For whatever it is, you got to do the work.
Right.
Not that I'm anywhere near to having abs anytime soon. So, but it's just a metaphor for the action of the program, That's
the biggest thing for me was just the action, because that's what proves to people. That's the pudding right there.
Yeah.
Like, when people see me now that used to know me when I was actively drinking and drugging, they're just like, oh my gosh, you've changed. But the other cool thing is I haven't changed. Like, I was super afraid that I was going to be this dull, wet towel once I got sober. And I was so pleasantly surprised to be like, I'm still quirky. I'm still sassy. I still say a lot of bad words. It's like I'm still that person. But now I love myself. And I just love where I am. And I didn't have that before. And that's all thanks to the program and the fellowship.
That's fantastic.
I encourage bad language. You got something you're ready to fire off here, yeah.
Yeah, that goes right into this perfect segue here, that if you're having a tough time quitting whatever it is that you need to quit, you're not alone. There's apps and numbers and groups in your town, or you can call us if you want. Leave us a message, 813-625-2532. Hit us up on Facebook. Taking that first step into a room or a chat or a group with people trying to get better just like you will be the best day of your life. Tiffany, it's been great having you today. Thank you so much for your time and telling your story. Is there anything that you'd like to leave us with today, or one last thing you'd like to get out before we wrap the show up?
I do have another quote from Matthew Perry. Now, I was going back and forth on which one to send you because I like both of them. The one that I gave you is pretty helpful. It's hopeful. Like, it's really up there. This other one talks more about how you get beat down.
Cool.
So he said, but addiction wakes up before you do, and it wants you alone. Alcoholism will win every time. As soon as you raise your hand and say, I'm having a problem, alcohol sneers. You're going to say something about it now? Fine. I'll go away for a little while, but I'll be back. I'll never go away for good.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because you walk into any bar, anywhere else, there's alcohol everywhere. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to work the program, you've got your way out. But if you want a way out, there's absolutely one. And there are so many people that love you that you don't even know yet.
So awesome. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Primo, what's your final point? Primo's final point on today's show.
Okay. Can I use any of the other points that were already made?
Absolutely. Retread one.
All right. No, I don't. This show has been great. And, the inspiration I'm getting out of this show is that the energy and all the stuff that's necessary to stay sober is showing up, asking questions, being a part of the program is so important. Getting somebody to help you take you through the steps, all that stuff. Those are the things that I love to hear, and it's a great message that other people can hear. Hey, listen, this is a very simple deal. And you don't have to go set the world on fire and have a rock star career right away. You can recycle your family, get the things back in order, and build the house the right way. And then ramp up from there.
Yep.
But I love the fact that the way you're building your house that you're going to have to live in, super strong. I don't like the fact that you don't want to sponsor people right away, because I think you'd be great at it. But that's okay. I'm not your sponsor.
Hey, progress.
Progress, yes. But I do think that there's a need, you know what I mean? So people need to, the people that are coming in and going through these things are doing it for the main purpose of helping another person. And the ultimate reward is all the shit we get from it.
Absolutely.
Not just time and a half, but I mean, my life, I am so blessed. So that's it. I'll leave it at that. That's enough.
That is enough. And so thanks for listening to Sober Shenanigans, real talk and real recovery. Worry, anxiety, and fear, it's all up in here. Just give yourself a break. You're enough, and you're doing great. I'm Stoff, and he's Primo. And remember, no drinks today.
We're all in the same boat, fellas.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.